Hello students, welcome to the series on marketing and retail business. Today we are going to study retail management. In this we will cover unit 3 and we will study the factors affecting the location of retail business. Now let us study the objective of the study. The basic objective is to focus on the factors affecting location of retail business and to do a strategic analysis for development of a location strategy. Now let us study the factors impacting choice of a location. It is nearness to the home or workplace, to create a competitive advantage and to choose a location which the competitors can't easily copy. Now the basic factors which impact the choice of location for a retail business is basically it needs to be near to the residential area, so that at least you can get the clients and the consumers. The convenience for customers is important. It has to create a competitive advantage where the competitors cannot afford or even cannot copy your location, because you are in a core and a hub area which is very popular among the customers. The focus on creating P of place for a long time is important for success of business. The influences merchandise mix and the interior layout of the store. Even with the emergence of web, location of store still forms an important step of retail strategy. Though we have online presence of most of the web stores, but still the most flashy locations are a kind of a asset for most of the big retail chains. Like if you are in powerful locations of Bombay, Delhi, New York or Bangalore or any big city, it is still a power with you, because the real estate and the cost and the kind of the innovation and the kind of the value cannot be copied and cannot be afforded by many investors and many people who want to enter this business. So, you have a posh location and a kind of innovative and a creative space in any city, it still is an asset for most of the store brands and store designs and layouts, which speak lot about the ambience and the status of the brands present in powerful locations. Let us do a location analysis. At the macro level, the research has to be based on the travel time to reach the store, the parking space availability, nearness to complementary stores, investment to be made for site as it impacts return to be calculated, the potential index and the average transaction value within a viable drive or walk time. See, macro level we have to design or take a space which is near to the customers' residential areas. What is the travel time by which they can reach? What is the space in terms of parking available? What is the interest of the customers who are our neighbors? And how it is important that the potential of that place can give us return on other aspects also, that is how your power is calculated, how your brand status, everything is impacted by the choice of the location. So, location analysis would involve detailed analysis of many factors. Now, let us do a trade area analysis. The retail market is a group of individuals who possess an ability, desire and willingness to buy goods and services. It thrives in geographical area within which retail customers reside or work. Customer profile of a segment of the people within such geographical area necessary to serve through the store as a target market is important. Now, when we do a trade area analysis, it is important to know what is the type of business you are, and according to your business you will choose the location. Trade areas are like mandis, or they are the options where similar people of similar interest gather to buy and sell their goods and services. Like Surat has emerged as a mandi for textile industry. All investors who want to do retail business for textiles would come to Surat. The investment, the dealers, the retailers, the manufacturers, they have done lot in terms to make that market developed. Every variety and every type of cloth is available, and most of the people from all over world who are in fashion industry would come to that area to select the options available. So, that gives the power to the other retailers also who are in that market to understand the trends and the options to buy. If you are selling agriculture goods, you have to be in agricultural mandis where the crops come and how do we buy and sell the most of the yields which are available with many traders. You have people who are coming from villages, you have people from other investors who have godowns and warehouse and who are interested in buying goods and services. So, these are the trade area analysis concept where we have to study the product which we have, where do we find a market, how do we get a space over there, how do we contact the retailers, and what is the potential of that area to do a business. Now, let us study the economic factor. Unemployment will affect the purchasing power of people in that area. Per capita income data helps in projecting the demand for various merchandise. Economic stability of area can be estimated from household incomes and expenditure patterns. Buying power indexed and effective buying incomes are calculated to arrive at fairly accurate analysis of a trade area. Now, when we are trying to decide our area where we need to trade, we need to see that what is the level of the purchasing power of people in that area, what is the source of income of people of those area, how they are spending the money. Suppose a kind of a area has developed in terms of travel and tourism. So, that area can be converted into a option to thrive more entertainment business and more hotels can come, because already the destination is beautiful in terms of geographical assets and values. Like if we have areas like Switzerland, which is a kind of a paradise on earth, can have many options of hotels and investments, because the travel tourism is developed and people need entertainment and accommodation to thrive on their options of making life comfortable. Now, in trade area analysis, the retail market potential has to be calculated. Retail market potential is total sales value in of products or product lines from all stores of a particular retail trade area. Then we have to calculate the retail sales potential. This is expected sales volume in within trade area as a part of retail market potential. Then is the retail sales forecast. This is the expected sales volume. So, first we have to calculate the retail market potential. What is that? It is the source, it is the total sales value calculated from all the stores. Like if an area can do a business of 1000 crores, so this will be the market potential of 10-15 stores which are located in that area, or maybe the area is vast, there can be many stores. What will be the retail sales potential is your sales volume, what you are able to sell in that particular area. And what will be the sales forecast? This is the kind of the ability to anticipate the future and try to determine a potential demand impacting the market. Now, let us study the components of retail market mix. The major components to arrive at market potential is the number of potential customers in a given area and the amount of money spent for products and product line. See, what will be the market potential? It is how many customers are available and what is the amount of money they are investing. See, when we try to do travel business, we always try to do our marketing on rich people, because even if we have 100 tourists who are spending more than 2 lakhs, they are more valuable than thousands of customers who would spend only 10,000. Because when you bring more customers to your market or to your destination, it is lot of pollution added and it is lot of burden added on the infrastructure. So, we try to calculate number of people who would be interested in coming this destination and what is the amount of money they are able to spend. Most of the visa regulations in the foreign country are regulated by the amount of the bank balances people possess. Like if you want US visa or if you want UK visa, obviously your bank accounts and details are important, because even those destinations in terms of travel are not interested in bringing poor customers who would add up to the pollution or would add up to the medical emergencies in their destinations. So, we always try to calculate the market potential of area on the basis of the spending power of the people. What is the purchasing power of the people? Higher is the purchasing power of people, more is the charm and more is the demand for that particular trade area. Then let us study the potential of location. Population statistics is an important parameter of retail market potential. Potential of location can be calculated on basis of per capita, per household basis and per family basis. Now, obviously, the trade area is the number of people who are residing would add up to the power. if the trade area is in suppose Rajasthan and one trade area is in Gujarat. So, depending on the economy's power of the people's purchasing power, the trade area's affluence would increase. If the destination is poor and the per capita income is lower, obviously less investors will be attracted, because even if they invest, what will they get if people do not have the purchasing power? You get more investors to Gujarat because people have more purchasing power in Gujarat. You get less investors in Rajasthan because here people are poor and people have less income or less disposable income to purchase. So, the market potential would depend on the number of households and their purchasing ability. The source of income is important. Now, let us study the location strategy. First is the index of retail saturation. It examines level of competition and retail sales in a given geographical area to measure the competitive saturation, the total square meter of a retail space that is existing and potential. So, what does the index of retail saturation is? It will calculate how much that per square meter would be able to give you return in terms of sales. So, if that is high, obviously the investors will come and they will invest and they will make the retail organizations more strong. The location will be more in demand and the cost will be very high, because to sit in this location is to get more customers to increase your sales. That would basically make the investors viable in the market. Now, let us study the outshopping and the infrastructure. What is outshopping and what is the infrastructure required? Outshopping is people resort to go and shop out of the traditional shopping area. The infrastructure is better to study access to roads, etc., before finalizing a particular location. Now, the new organized retailing which is making an impact on the urban areas is the outshopping. That is, we have a concept of zoning where you have inner areas which are too much in terms of complex, because the population is high, the traffic is high, the problems are high. To reach even the traditional areas in the inner zoning areas is difficult. So, we have selected out locations which are very good in terms of connectivity, where you have hotels, you have resorts, where you have big roads, lavish infrastructure in terms of the residents with big bungalows. So, even organized retail malls are coming to those areas where people can go out of the traditional geographical area of zoning and connect to the out shopping area with lavish infrastructure to spend a day, which can help them to entertain themselves and to see and buy the products with the physical verification of the products. Now, let us study the types of location. The basic types of location, the choice is from shopping center or business district or any other locality. You have rural and urban areas based on strategy and prosperity of each area. You have temporary locations like exhibition sites, festival sites, etc. The choice of the shopping center, they are like powerful areas where you try to take up a shopping retail mall, or you try to book a space in a very big organized departmental store. So, all this can give you a potential footfall of the customers, or you can go to the rural areas and to the urban areas. Even the rural areas are very strong in terms, because the population is residing there and they also have a purchasing power. The concept of marriage, the festivals is very important in rural areas. So, rural areas also have become a kind of a attraction for many big investors, where they try to sell the electronics, the gadgets and the mobiles. People do earn and try to collect these items for their daily life, or for even the marriage seasons are very uh, big business areas, where most of the bigger and international brands try to hire local people with the local language and try to increase the sales. Then you have temporary locations in terms when an exhibition is done. So, people of a particular interest and particular taste from all over the world gather over these sites, and because they have interest is they try to invest and buy. So, these exhibition sites, the festival sites are good hub of potential footfall people coming to those areas. So, here you can put up your display of products and services, and the total range is generally seen by the customers. They do a research and try to buy the goods according to their needs. Now, let us study the micro environmental factors. The micro environmental factors impacting the retail location strategy involve the store ambience design, the merchandising, the personnel, the store features, visual merchandising. Organized retail store business has to be successful with the options of managing these factors. Now, micro environmental factors basically are important, because here when you try to select a location and your retail organization is not being visible, then it is a problem. So, you have to see how your store is visible, what is the ambience associated, how it is more beautiful than the other retail organizations, so that people are attracted to your retail space, and because of your innovation and your creativity, this space becomes a kind of a comfort zone for people to shop and to thrive. The various types of location basically are based on the convenience. The convenience store would be suitable for expensive jewelry and fashion store, where you have typical locations like freestanding isolated store, part of a business district and a part of a shopping center. Sometimes you have convenient locations where you have special brands related to watches, to designer jewelry, which stand out in all malls and in all convenient locations. Like if you go to a very big 5-star hotel, or you go to a resort, or even if you go to a very big airport, or you try to just have a kind of a time left for your connection to travel, you can go into these shops and see the designer jewelry and designer dresses available at these very hot destinations, because they are the ambiences where most of the sophisticated customers come and wait for their travel durations, or they basically wait to for the connecting flight. So, these locations also become powerful and become spaces for convenient stores to display, but it is not a very large part of the assortment which is displayed. It is only a kind of a hand picked assortment which is very beautiful and very designer, or if it is heritage looking, then only this space is designed to attract the customers and have a kind of a impact in terms of building status, brand and value for the assortments. The isolated or freestanding stores, usually along a traffic artery without any competitive stores around. The rents are low, the facilities like parking is available, ample of advertising for such location stores is there, and it is very high to draw customers for store visit. Sometimes we have isolated locations where you can have a beautiful retail store with a good ambience and good space, where you have products which are only special and the customers can drive to these store designs. Mostly these stores are related to the outlook of the designer cars, or showrooms which sell bikes and automobiles. They are located at far off destinations or isolated areas, because here the customer can drive and see how these locations look in terms of the ambiences, to buy and purchase the model which they want. Hotel cum fast foods on highway, due to high cost of travel and time, place like Mumbai may not suit, but based on the catchment areas and time, one can spend time for travel stores proximity in sequence with grocery, cosmetics, apparel, books, music, jewelry, etc. Sometimes isolated locations on highways also become important, because people are constantly traveling through cars and other vehicles also. So, when they travel, they need to take a break journey, and when they take a break journey, they need a hotel, and nearby locations of the hotels you have designer stores and you have designer shops of music, watches, jewelry, etc. Because if you have forgotten anything, you can buy or you can take these things as souvenir, and because people have time and they are on entertainment, they take interest in buying these things if they are seen and they are available according to their taste and design. Now, let us see retail locations as business districts. Part of business district is a place of a commerce that can be central, secondary to neighborhood location. They have high peak land rates, intense development, good accessibility and transportation. Example, Connaught Place, rents are high and facilities for parking zones. Now, you see that there are some kind of locations which are very powerful, and if you are a part of that business organization or that business area, you basically get a power, because these places, even if you have money, you cannot buy, because they are like properties owned by people for decades or maybe hundreds of years back they have bought these places. Now they have become power locations. If you sit in Connaught Place of Delhi, it is like a power bestowed to you, because now these places are not even available on rental basis. People have immense power to sell and do business in these areas, because this is the most powerful area where the customers from all over the world and all over Asia try to come for their trade needs. You can be a part of a shopping center. The group of retail and other commercial establishments planned, developed, owned and managed as a single property. Ample parking availability forms an important consideration for choice. Even shopping centers is where hundreds of shops are there, and these shops generally manage everything from electricity, water, parking, security and the kind of design of attraction, theme parks, clubs, hotels, spas, everything is available. For to have a shop in a kind of a shopping center is to be a kind of a blessing, because here you do not have to look into the centralized facilities. You only have to manage your store and everything other facility related to the customer appeal, promotion, and every facility for the convenience of the customer is collected by the organizers. Then you have mall or strip center. Mall is typically a climate controlled center. The strip center is the walkaway provided between two strips of stores in a mall. Strip center is a row of stores with parking in front of a strip store. Now, when you have a mall, you obviously, if you have a central location, you have a kind of a retail venue which is very costly. But even the walkaway space between the two stores, you can carry a kind of a small stall which can display small products like watches or the area of any other collection related to cosmetics or to any other brand. Then what is the strip center? That is outside the mall, you still have spaces left where you can put up those eating joints, and you can carry a stall to offer coffee and tea and other things to the customers. These are also powerful locations, because near parking space you have strip centers where the customers can eat and drink and can then go to the mall. Types of shopping centers basically relate to neighborhood for convenience, regional is for fashions etc., fashion and high end specialty end fashion stores, theme based leisure tourist oriented centers, community for general merchandise community, super larger of regional areas, power category dominant areas, outlet center manufacturers outlets, like this is the outlet center where outside the factory you have a kind of a store. So, you cannot go to the factory because it is a busy center and doing the business of wholesale. So, they do it for the retailers. If somebody wants small products or they want seconds products, the factory outlet is there and you can see those products of the manufacturers in the factory outlet area, where you can have a kind of a index of searching made easy. You do not have to go inside the factory and cross the whole big layout, but you can see the samples, you can see the designs and can order as a wholesaler, dealer or a retailer. Now, let us see the steps involved in choosing the location. Identify the market in which to locate the store, evaluate the demand and supply within that market, that is determine the market potential, identify the most attractive site, select the best site available. Now, it is not very easy to decide a location strategy. First is the availability. If there is availability, try to find out the market potential. What is market potential is like what is the demand of products which are being sold over here. You try to calculate the potential of business. If there is a potential of business, then only the investment will come. Out of the available space, try to select the most attractive space which is visible to the customers or which has the comfort of parking and which has the comfort of being near to the central big investors. Market attractiveness, what is it? Is market attractiveness to a retailer is based on peculiarities of each area of wants for products and services. The market attractiveness for any investor would be according to their interest and their needs. The IT industries would prefer Bangalore as their option of establishing their offices, because all kind of back end services are available there, the specialists are available there and the kind of the customers are also available there. People who are in textiles would prefer Surat, people who are in tourism would prefer Goa. So, you have to decide what is your potential of your goods and services, what is your power of specialization in each area, and according to that you would select the zones or you would select the spaces for your location. Market potential is based on demographics, characteristics of households in that area, competition and compatibility with other stores, laws, regulations, trade area analysis. So, we have already studied market potential, but here the market potential becomes a part of location strategy, because each location which you choose must have some kind of market potential, otherwise your investment will be not viable and it will not be attractive to draw customers. So, if your investment has to be successful, your location needs to be selected on doing a proper kind of a market and a trade analysis. Now, let us study the summary of this lecture. In this, we have studied the factors affecting the location for retail business. The location strategy is important for retailers, in spite we have online and web stores. The online space can connect to the customers in terms of addresses and contacts, but the negotiations and deals and the power of buying and selling is more comfortable into locations which are powerful for the customer's convenience to walk and see the products. The physical verification and the evidence of the product demonstration becomes more easy in a store. So, store location strategy is still very important in spite of the growing online presence of the stores. I hope the students must have understood the importance of location and the kind of impact on the sales. Thank you, students.